You're invited to join us for our San Diego Transcendence Retreat, taking place during the fall equinox at the gorgeous Catamaran Resort on Mission Bay. This retreat includes a sunset dinner cruise, followed by a weekend full of fascinating presentations by ET contactees, near-death experiencers, hypnotic regressionists, mediums, and channelers. These are entry points into quantum consciousness. You will experience quantum love as you gather with a like-minded, heart-centered spiritual community. Enjoy indoor interactive workshops as well as meditations on the beach. We look forward to seeing you in San Diego this fall. Reserve your seat today at San Diego TranscendenceRetreat.com. We'll see you in San Diego. Introducing Dr. Eben Alexander, unveiling the mystery of consciousness.
And thank you so much for saying yes to coming to my San Diego Transcendence Retreat in September.
Well, Suzanne, I couldn't be more excited. You've got a great group together there in terms of speakers and an incredible venue coming together. So I'm most excited about this. It'll be a lot of fun.
It will be. And you're such a perfect fit because the theme for this retreat that came in through Tim Spenny, actually, he's a member of the Consciousness Club here in San Diego, is this idea of entry points into quantum consciousness. And so what are those entry points? And one of them is certainly near-death experiences. So
Absolutely.
such a perfect fit. Tell me how for you the near-death experience became an entry point into the field of infinite consciousness.
Well, it really, in many ways, couldn't have been a more perfect entree. Although if you'd asked me in advance if that's what I wanted to happen, I would have said, well, I don't know about that. But having a severe case of bacterial meningitis, I mean, it's really a perfect model for human death because of the way that meningitis attacks the human part of the brain, the whole outer surface, the neocortex. And that's why my case was so striking, because the medical parameters were just devastating. And yet I had this profound experience when anyone who reads the medical records would realize, that brain was in no shape to have any kind of dream or hallucination, much less this incredibly rich, ultra real spiritual experience. And yet it all happened. And the other side of that coin is, of course, that I was able to come back and fully recover. Again, reading those medical records, you're reading the records of somebody who, we would expect to die. It's just way too devastating. And yet to have this profound experience and then benefit from this incredible recovery over 2 months back to really perfectly intact health and all my memories returned, it's a real shocker, and it demands a deeper explanation. And my old kind of materialist conventional neurosurgical training really didn't work for that. So I had to expand it tremendously. And that's what this is all about: sharing this story, sharing my journey, sharing the books. It's all about an incredibly entry point into reality that points out the primacy of consciousness. This mind is what generates the physical universe. And that sounds a little foreign to some of us, but the NDE community is well on a pathway to proving the reality of this primacy of mind, which means our free will has far more power than we might have thought before. So it's all a revolution that leads humanity towards a much richer understanding of our origins, our very reasons for existence, and also leads us to a better way to live our lives, and certainly a much more peaceful, harmonious, and prosperous world.
And in your books, you do give people direction on how to do that and the methods and techniques for tapping into that, and in doing so to expand your potential and your perspective. So tell me a little bit about, I know Proof of Heaven is your international best-selling book, but I'm also aware that you have a new book, Living in a Mindful Universe.
Right, absolutely. Well, the books definitely kind of mark out a pathway of progression of my kind of growth and understanding of this. And you're right. The third book, Living in a Mindful Universe, from my perspective, is the real proof of heaven, because it's where we finally start to bring the science and spirituality together in a way that makes sense. And I think that's what a lot of people appreciate about that book. But even more importantly, as you bring up, is this notion of giving people tools so that they too can participate in this incredible journey of discovery of the nature of reality, along with the scientific community at large. But tools for meditation, for going within consciousness. Once you realize that your consciousness is not simply created by a 3.5 pound gelatinous mass floating in a warm, dark bath between your ears, but that it's really more the mind of the universe, then exploring it seems to become a far more interesting prospect. And so we talk in there about sacred acoustics. In fact, the book, Living in a Mindful Universe, is co-written with my wife, a partner in all this work, Karen Newell, who is the co-founder of Sacred Acoustics. And she is a brilliant spiritual teacher and sage who has taught me a lot about the use of sound in meditation, a lot of spiritual truths that she's just come to know throughout her life. But to me, a lot of this was new, but thank God I had Karen to help guide me. And in many ways, she helped shape that book into something that I believe is very kind of readable by the general audience, because I tended to get a little heavily into the scientific side, and she kept it far more human and heartfelt, heart consciousness. So that's why Living in a Mindful Universe is a very useful resource. And also, I recommend there's a workbook online that goes with it that's totally free that anybody can get onto, and that's at ebenalexander.com, at my website. And you'll find a little banner on the welcome page, 33-day journey into the heart of consciousness. Click on that, leave your first name and an email address. You're off and running to an incredible community. More than 14,000 people have taken that course. They all leave their comments and experiences. So it's a great resource for people who want to get into this. The 33-day journey at ebenalexander.com.
Well, I will definitely check that out, Evan. And thank you for providing a useful resource and a guide. You know, there's one thing to have the experience for yourself and maybe share, the remarkable scientific and spiritual revelations of your own personal journey, but then to go out and share it with the world around you to benefit them and provide them ways so that they too can experience that is really remarkable, and bless you and thank you for that.
Well, my pleasure. In many ways, it's just reminding souls of something they know. There's something called program forgetting, that we don't necessarily remember past lives and between lives when we come into these bodies, and yet evidence of past lives can be recovered through near-death experiences, hypnotic regression, through meditation. That's what we teach, is how to meditate to get deeply into this and start harvesting all the richness of the eternity of soul. And that's really what we're talking about here. And it's a very refreshing and liberating set of realizations, and all based in the modern science. That's what I'll be talking about in my keynote, and also in our workshop in the meditation. I'll be covering the details of how all this works.
Okay. And so, yes, speaking of your workshop, can you dive just a little deeper and invite our viewers to attend?
Well, the workshop is entitled Your Connection to Universal Mind. It'll be a 75-minute workshop. And in that, I believe we're going to be using probably a 30-minute sacred acoustics meditation. I'll be talking about the technology and about what we think is going on in the brain and the brainstem that allows these profound journeys to unfold. But then the best part about it is we will have that experience together, because there's a great group energy that emerges when you meditate to something like this as a group. And I always look forward to that experience, because it never leaves me kind of lacking for amazement about the nature of the human spirit. So that's what we'll be exploring in Your Connection to Universal Mind, the workshop that I'll be hosting.
Thank you for that. I always find that the experiential is really the most powerful way for this information to sort of move now into a knowing, because it's really through each individual's experience
Yeah.
that it becomes an inner truth.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nothing like personal experience to wake people up to this. And I know from the experience Karen and I have had with workshops that we've given around the world that people who have never had a near-death experience can come into some very serious wisdom about the nature of such experiences and of past lives, reincarnation, all that stuff through meditation using this kind of advanced technology of sacred acoustics.
Mm, beautiful. Well, we really look forward to you being part of our San Diego Transcendence Retreat, Evan. It's such a delight to meet you, and I know so many of our guests will be really delighted to meet you as well. Are you joining us on the Sunset Dinner Cruise?
I believe so. I think my schedule
Yay!
will allow for every bit of that. And of course, that's probably something not to be missed in San Diego is a sunset dinner cruise. I
Yes, we
love
did
the
it.
thought of it.
We did it last year and it was just glorious going out on the sparkling still waters of the bay at
Oh, I love it.
sunset, the lights of San Diego, and yeah, and then of course it's a gourmet meal that's served, and in the background we'll have some sound journey performers providing sound, and then it's really just the mingling
Oh,
of
that's perfect.
people with each other, with the presenters. So, we kind of call it a meet and greet as well. It's a great way to kick off our event. I'm so thrilled to hear that you'll be joining us, Evan.
Well, I love that. And for me, one of the greatest rewards from having shared all this with the world is that people share their stories with me. So I always love that kind of opportunity to meet up with the audience members and hear about their experiences too, because it's all it does is just strengthen my understanding of this much grander universe that we live in. So thank you for
Oh.
that opportunity.
Absolutely, and bless you for being so open to interacting with others and hearing their stories too. I'm sure it means a lot to them, and then your feedback about it is probably very affirming. So really beautiful. Thank you.
Good. Looking forward to it, Suzanne. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely. And you're all invited to join us. I look forward to seeing you in September in San Diego. Evan, have a beautiful and blessed day. Mwah.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. See you then.
Okay, bye-bye.
You're invited to the San Diego Transcendence Retreat, taking place September 19th through the 20th at the gorgeous Catamaran Resort on Mission Bay. Enjoy this video highlighting this tropical paradise. Purchase your pass to the retreat today and receive $25 off when you book at this resort.